Alright, what's going on, guys? It is your boy TKD123 here back in PlayStation Stores, and we have a big week here in terms of PlayStation because we got some really cool unexpected news that we could be getting here. Of course, we are waiting for God of War Ragnarok, right? We're waiting for the upcoming State of Play or PlayStation Showcase or whatever they want to call it, right? But we do have some interesting news that is picking back off of a PS5 Pro Controller video that we did a few weeks ago. A few days ago. Definitely go check out that video where we went over all that Tom Harrison had to say about the alleged PS5 Pro Controller that is in the works, allegedly, according to his word. And honestly, if Tom Harrison says it, it's probably true. And now he's back here with another article that is going over even more hardware that we could see with PlayStation and why I think all this stuff honestly makes sense. So before we get into it, make sure to leave a like on the video as well as stay subscribed to PlayStation Stores to keep up with the latest and greatest in PlayStation. Going into it here, we have the title here. We're gonna read just, I'm gonna straight up just read the whole article and we'll go by it bit by bit, and then we'll go over the ultimately, why I think this makes sense and why I think this is very, something that could be really exciting for PlayStation gamers as well. So link below in the description to this article. It's on Xputer, written by Tom Harrison. Definitely go give it a click if you would do so. Sony to reveal 3 new headsets and 2 new monitors next week, aka this week, and it goes as follows. Last week I reported via Tryhard Guides that Sony was gearing up to potentially reveal a new PlayStation 5 Pro Controller in the near future. This assumption was based on the knowledge that Sony is in fact revealing new hardware at the end of this week. Although there's been no confirmation on if the controller will be revealed or not, it does make sense. There's still no official confirmation or insider confirmation that this is the case. However, sources have confirmed to their knowledge what will be shown off from Sony next week. Information on one set of hardware has already been revealed, which is Sony's new headsets. These are the new INZONE H series headsets with 3 sets to be revealed next week. The INZONE H3, INZONE H7, and INZONE H9 all come with 360 spatial sound for gaming and are all Discord certified. INZONE H3 wired headset, cheapest headset, and 360 spatial audio. So these are like the breakdowns for what each headset has. The INZONE H7 will have a wireless headset, 360 spatial sound, and best battery life, along with the INZONE H9, which is a wireless headset, 360 spatial audio, most expensive headset on the market for this line of INZONE products, but it does have noise canceling sound as well. And really cool that they all have Discord certifications as well. So hopefully we're going to have a A50 type of vibe where I have my A50s tunneling in audio from my Mac and my PS5 into the headset itself. So hopefully these will offer that same experience. I'm pretty sure that's what they're going with here with that Discord certification. The price points of these headsets are yet to be revealed. In addition to the 3 new headsets, Sony is also set to reveal 2 brand new gaming monitors under the INZONE brand that feature, quote, exclusive features for PlayStation, which includes auto HDR tone mapping and auto genre picture mode. According to my sources, one of these monitors will be for 4K gaming at 144Hz, whereas the other will be full HD gaming, so 1080p at 240Hz. Both devices were described as being, quote, perfect for PS5 and have received VRR/HDMI, G-Sync, etc. support and feature low latency 1 millisecond GTG. Sony has also kept HDR in mind, display HDR 600 in 4K 144Hz and display HDR 400 in full HD 240Hz for both monitors. It's also believed that both of these monitors will come with gaming assist features, which include the monitors displaying the number of FPS, game time, a viewfinder, improved brightness in dark locations, black equalizer, and refining brightness and contrast to better see enemies, with these features being turned off/on depending on the user's desires. The price points of these monitors are yet to be revealed. However, it's still unclear whether Sony will also reveal the new Pro Controller or not, but my sources have said that these 5 pieces of new hardware are set to be revealed next week and are set to be a part of Sony's new INZONE brand. And so there we have it. We have 3 new headsets, we have 2 new monitors that are in this INZONE type of branding that Sony is making, and this does come at the heels of them tweeting this out here. I'll put the tweet up on the screen where we have the official Sony UK Twitter account giving us a June 28th time and the hashtag find your new zone. And so definitely there seems to be some truth to this with this INZONE line of products being leaked and them out saying taglines lines that have Zone in it. It definitely seems like we are going to see this tomorrow in terms of these 3 new headsets and these 2 modders. Very excited for me personally, but let's go over what I think about this overall. So I think it's really neat, you know, if we start with the headsets, right? I think it's really neat that we're gonna have 3 different tiers of headsets. We see this with like the Astro lineup. We see this with a bunch of other different manufacturers that really like to have a library of different options for their consumers, right? Where we have the, what's it called? The hold on, the INZONE H3, where that's gonna be wired, the cheapest headset in the whole scheme. That makes a lot of sense. We have the INZONE H7, which is gonna be wireless and have the best battery life. Then we have things like the H9, which will be the top of the line stuff that does have the noise canceling sound and all that great stuff. So I'm wondering, you know, if this will also be with the Pulse 3D headset. What happens to the Pulse 3D headset that they've dropped for the PS5? What happens with that? Does that stay at $100? Does that tell us different price ranges for this whole thing? I imagine that the H3 will definitely be under $100, but is H7 going to be in that like 150 range or 125 range? Do we have the H9 coming in at like over $200? Like where are we at with that pricing scheme? And does this whole scheme match up with the Pulse headset that we have right now? So I'm very curious about that and everything. Does it get phased out? Does it come into 4 options with the Pulse as well? We'll see when that all comes into fruition tomorrow. And then with the modders, I love the monitors. Right now, I've been in the market for a 4K 144 hertz monitor. So to have a 4K 144 hertz monitor from Sony that will have things like VRR and will have things like HDR and everything, like that sounds extremely enticing to me specifically, right? And honestly, I did a poll yesterday on a Sunday, and a lot of you are leaning towards that 4K 144 hertz option, and like very few of you are going with that 1080p 240 hertz. But I know there are people out there that really care about that, and that market, the people that care about 240 hertz and really care about that high-end frame rate, is going to be those that lean more PC, right? But also lean more towards those competitive games in terms of multiplayer games, fighting games, etc. So that all folds in to ultimately why I think these 2 things make sense. But one thing I gotta say here on top of, you know, before we get into the things that make sense, what is the price points for all these things, right? Like they have said here that the H3 will be the cheapest headset. There's that, so they are taking into account those that really require and really want a cheaper option into these new products. But I'm curious with those monitors, because I don't know, man, like 4K 144, we'll see what they can do with that pricing. You know what I'm saying? Like ultimately, like I'm still very much intrigued by it, and I will, you know, maybe put down a little bit more cash than I'm comfortable with ultimately to get something like this for sure. But I am curious to see how they're gonna do that pricing, and we'll see tomorrow, hopefully, if they unveil pricing for this INZONE line of products. But ultimately, why I think this makes sense, okay? A big one here is that we are of course seeing a push in PlayStation first party into multiplayer games. There's a rumored, you know, multiplayer game that is in the works at, you know, Sucker Punch Productions, at Guerrilla Games, at of course Naughty Dog. We have Firewalk Studios, we have Haven. We have so many first party developers within PlayStation making multiplayer games that it makes sense that you're going to want to put out products that are going to be tailored to those high-end games and what that demographic wants for those high-end games. For example, the Pro Controller. Like I made the same argument where with the Pro Controller, that makes sense because they're going to want you know, that like crowd of people that are going to be into those multiplayer games are going to want to have back paddles and want to have triggers that can have trigger stops and everything. And so for them to also be enticed with high-end headsets to be able to, you know, use sound in their multiplayer games, as well as of course these monitors to have the best frame rate out there, right? Like they're going to want to have these products, and so having it here for PS5, having it in an INZONE brand, having it where it is very accessible and very clear what you're getting, I think this could be great because there's a lot of monitors that, you know, you have to do a ton of research on. Does it have VRR? What's the hertz on it? What's all that, right? And so be able to point consumers that are used to, hey, this is a PS5. Cool, this is my PS5, great, right? And to be able to have that experience kind of relayed in this branding with these, you know, with these headsets and monitors, I think it's a great thing, and I think it's honestly very smart for them to do, and definitely does make sense since a lot of their, you know, games are going multiplayer that we know of in the future. And on top of that, to streamline the feature set as well, like I said before, like these monitors will likely have VRR. Well, no, not likely. It's said to have VRR HDR, all that great stuff. So to have that all just streamlined for the consumer, definitely a great move there overall. And lastly, I'll say another thing as well to double back on it. PlayStation bought Evo. They bought the biggest fighting game tournament in the world, right? And so having that Evo crowd, having a emphasis on esports, which I'm sure if you guys have not been aware, the PlayStation Twitch channel loves to stream competitive stuff now. Like, they've been streaming competitive matches for a bunch of different games for months, and at this point years now, right? So there's a clear emphasis in wanting to be in that esports world, right? So imagine when we see the camera pan at the next Evo and they're all on INZONE products. Like, you see the INZONE monitors, you see the sponsorship for INZONE, you see the headsets. Like, we see how it's all playing together, where they're really wanting to push this products with their games and the way that they are treating esports as a whole. And I think it honestly makes sense. I think it's a really cool thing. For me, ultimately, it does come down to the price point. I think they have a great spread of different products for different people, right? So the casual gamers aren't going to go for the H9 or necessarily the 1080p 240 hertz displays, but maybe they'll go for the H7 or the H3, and maybe they'll go for the 4K 144 hertz to get the best of both worlds in terms of resolution and frame rate. But ultimately, guys, what do you think in the comments below? How are you feeling about this? Are you liking what you're seeing here? Are you disliking it? Will you be picking up these products? And tomorrow, definitely go check out our stream tomorrow, where we will be going over and live streaming this event, and I'll definitely be enticed to see about that 4K 144 hertz monitor. I definitely need that in my life, respectfully. You know what I'm saying? But down below, links below to everything that we talked about here on the channel. As also, you can go check out our Discord, our Twitter, and our Anchor link. That way you can listen to our long form content in podcast format. Those, of course, being the upcoming Road to Ragnarok series, Road to Part 1, and the future Road to series as well in that podcast format. Like if you enjoyed it as well, stay subscribed to PlayStation Source to keep up with the latest and greatest in PlayStation. Thank you all for watching, and as always, greatness waits.